Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Garrett O'Gamber, and I'm going to talk about a game called Hellraid. I discovered this game on Steam a little while ago, and I was quite impressed with what I saw. I mean, you can always get hyped up about a game and be like, oh yeah, this is going to be amazing, or whatever. Get your mind set in a place for it. And I might be a sucker for visuals, but this game looks amazing. What is Hellraid? First of all, you should know Hellraid is developed by Techland. Techland are the same people working on Dying Light and who have worked on the Dead Island series. So Hellraid is going to be a hack and slash RPG-esque sort of game. It is not an open world. They're being very honest about that. It's a level-based game, which is great. I probably should start this by saying, when is this game going to be available? This game is being slated for an early access in fall 2014. Unfortunately, fall is passing us by relatively quickly, and they'd wanted to release it before the end of October. But Techland is infamous for changing their minds. Whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, I'm unsure. They had a rocky start with Dead Island, so this is going to be really the test. These past 2 years are going to be the test for Techland. Despite that, this game is a dungeon-crawling FPS sort of game. It's very Dark Soul-esque because it's going to be punishing and you have to use tactics or build your character. Probably there's going to be an entire skill tree to customize. You can customize your character. There's gear. There's different weapons. There's a variety of weapons in this game. Everything from magic to even using shields as weapons. So this is going to be very fascinating to get into. But when will it be released? My concern is that they're not going to release it this year, but they are aiming as much as they can to get it out in the next few weeks. Hopefully they'll actually slate a date. They might even just surprise us and release it. If you remember correctly, Dying Light got delayed an entire year. It was supposed to come out in June, so they've got a lot on their plate right now, and this game is not the biggest seller. It's not the biggest, people haven't really heard of this. I heard of this recently, and I had to do some searching to realize this game was even in existence. I liked what I see so far. I like what I see. It's very graphically stunning. It is RPG, dungeon crawling kind of game. It's not going to be easy, and I'm assuming there's multiple ways to encounter a scenario. So what can you expect from this game? Gore, leveling, grinding, destroying enemies, getting destroyed, learning from your mistakes, and otherwise being creeped out. What is the story about? Well, I don't know too much about the story, but from what I understand, a demonic entity has entered the world and is threatening life as you know it. Or you're having a complete hallucination. Hallucination, yeah, that makes sense. And you're butchering innocent townspeople. I really don't know. I don't care. The game seems interesting enough. Does this mean you should buy Hellraid when it comes out in early access? Probably not, because most early access games are, hit or miss. That doesn't mean they're bad. It just means when you purchase an early access game, you're purchasing an unfinished product. This game looks great so far. Everything you're seeing is in-game here, and I'll also be linking a video, so if you can't make up your mind from these screenshots, I'll be linking a commentary video that the devs did, and you guys can make up your own minds. I like what I see. Will I be purchasing it for early access? Most likely I will, yes. It looks fun. It looks entertaining. It's neat. I was actually thinking of a game like this just about a year ago. I was like, why isn't there a old-fashioned kind of Dungeons and Dragons, grinder sort of game? And Lichdom is pretty close to that, but you don't use weapons, you use spells, which is great. But this game is going to be what Lichdom wasn't, in the case that you can customize your weapons, you can build, a particular skill tree, kind of like Path of Exile, even. And you can customize your character to the point where you excel at certain things. What is the biggest selling point of this game, though? They're promising co-op on day one. Yes, on early access, they're promising co-op, which I'm hoping they honor. because a lot of people, they hear about co-ops in games and they're like, yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want. I want to play this with my friends. And I believe the game was Hexen? I don't remember. A long-ass time ago on Super Nintendo, I played a game that... This game just reminisces that so much. It was, you know, a role-based medieval FPS game. And this will be FPS only. There's no third person. They're not planning for third person. That's fine. I guess to make it more challenging anyways and immerse you in that environment, which it does very well. But this reminds me of that game, Hexen, because you go in... that's probably not the name, but I think it is. Whatever. It's been a while. Old brain. You would play with yourself and 3 of your other friends, you know, and of course back then you played on the same system in the same room and it had a certain nostalgia to it, but this kind of aims to bring that back, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. And as you can see here in this screenshot, the person is interacting with a chandelier, so you can use the environment to your advantage, which is great. It's not just for looks, the environment functions, and I can imagine you like getting in a heated fight with a zombie or something like that, and pushing it into a brazier, and it just bursts into flames or something like that. There's a variety of spells and tinkering, and there's even a bomb. You can throw a jug of either kerosene or gunpowder at an enemy, and it just explodes. And that's neat. That's just cool that they've added that into this whole kind of Skyrim-esque first-person feeling. And even though the game is not open world, as you can see from these screenshots, it appears to be bigger than it looks. So they have the illusion of a massive world, and that's great. When they do that in a game, they flesh it out to the point where you're tricked into believing you're in a big world, and that's what they aim for. I still don't know how the game is going to be in early access, because again, early access is a little bit of a gamble. If you believe in something, if you believe in a product, if you believe in a game, that's when you want to, you know, put your money into it. That's when you want to put your time into it. And I'm definitely going to get this and probably do what I did with Lichdom, is play it and play it and play it, and show you guys, you know, what the game's about. Make up your own mind, you know. Not every game is for you, especially if you don't have the computer for it. But if you do, and you believe in a project, you know, it's great to show that faith. It's great to buy it, because it only furthers games. I still recall when games were, by today's standards, crap. And there are still crap games that come out, but this was never possible in the past. And I've grown up playing games and watching them evolve to become the games that we want, the games that never existed. Long ago, people would have laughed at you if you said, I want a game where the player makes the choice. Maybe the player goes here and interacts with this and picks up that and fights this for whatever reason, under their own volition. And people would have laughed at you because they said, no, it has to be story, only story. The player has no choice. They just have to, you know, figure and fiddle with whatever they're given. But nowadays, it seems that we're given that option to have a free kind of choice game. So what I should elaborate is, if you're so distant right now you don't know what I'm talking about, is that the player creates the experience. The game only is the setting. So you're picking up your Warhammer and you're running in there and, you know, you're wailing away on the enemies, you know, you're dodging and probably utilizing a trap, or you're figuring, you know, maybe you and your allies are working together to achieve a goal. And that's really, I think, the future of games is allowing the player to dictate the experience. It's probably one of the reasons why I stopped playing WoW, besides my complete rage at the game and just Blizzard's refusal to upgrade and modernize, the lackluster service, and it was just, and the community was horrible. So this game, you know, is not going to be better than WoW. It's not going to be better than Dying Light. It's going to be a game that we wanted, that gamers wanted to exist. And it looks like it's going to be that. That's just a beautiful screenshot, I should say. I think I'm going to use that for the splash art. That is just gorgeous. Ideas create these games, and gamers create these games, and that's really where this comes from. is people have a love of games and they want to further it. Games are now what movies were several years back. They were an achievement of their age. And movies now are still an achievement. You know, there's still great movies coming out, but more and more games are reaching that celebrity status. You know, they are that well made. And this looks like a very well made game so far. So hopefully this video will give you some idea of what you might be getting into, or if you didn't know this game existed, I'm letting you know it exists now because I was so pleased to find something like this, and there's so little talk about it outside of their own circles, which is amazing, really, because they were talking about Dying Light. I think Dying Light stole the show because it's what Dead Island was supposed to be. This game was actually originally called Project Hell, and it was supposed to be a Dead Island DLC. Like, they had no faith in making this an actual, standalone. So I imagine the physics are going to work the same way as Dead Island. There might even be number indicators. I really don't care. As long as it's a completely different experience, as long as it is its own thing. And that's what they're aiming to make it. It's its own game now, and it's going to be all medieval and stuff. So it looks great. It looks spooky. There's a very visceral quality about it. There's a lot going on, and the screenshots are a testament to that, but I've watched some of the gameplay already, and I'm watching more gameplay of it, and I'm falling in love with it. So I thought I'd make this video, because I have a huge interest in games, if you didn't know that already, and I like to show you guys my opinion, in case you did not see the game, so you have an idea, do I want to play this? That's what you have to ask yourself. Do I want to play this game? Do I like this idea? If you like a game where you just jump into it, create your character, and start gaining that experience, you start from nothing to being this godlike entity, and yet still having a challenge. If you like to just get different weapons and maybe opening up a loot chest and be like, oh my god, and there's all this gold, and there's this shiny weapon with rune stones and glowy shit, this is your game. This is like I would say, a pseudo Skyrim experience, because Skyrim can take a very long time, and you're never meant to beat Skyrim. You can continue playing that game long after you've defeated every quest in the game. It's still just as fun. But this game is meant for people who don't want to always be there. Or maybe if you just like going through it once and then just restarting, that would be this kind of game for you. I don't want to say roguelite or whatever the term is, but in a way, you're given a experience that you can always start out fresh, and that's what this will offer. Like I said, there'll be co-op as soon as it comes out, hopefully, and that's really cool for people playing this game. And I imagine it'd get very hard too with 4 people, but that's all part of the fun. You can really roleplay the shit out of this game, and I plan to have a great time with this. So yeah, I hope you guys thought this video was somehow informative, and I do plan on doing a video or 2 about this, at the very least. It's really going to depend, but it's not out yet, at least not at the time of this video that I'm recording, and honestly, if it just came out the moment I released it, that would be awesome, but I don't think so. There's a lot of games this year, and this one just happened to go under my radar for the entire time. Apparently it was first publicly announced at Gamescom or something like that, and earlier this year, so no hopes just yet that it will be released at the end of this year. I'm hoping it is, but they're claiming if not this year, definitely next year. And I think it would hurt Techland, though, if it came out at the exact same time as Dying Light, which will come out very early next year, because that's 2 games from the same company, and they're kind of similar, but not entirely. Dying Light is an open world survival game, horror. This is a medieval hack and slash, and it is a stage-based game with levels and perks and blah 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 blah. What game doesn't have those by now? But still, this will be relatively interesting, and I love the way it looks. And this screenshot here, I'm loving that there's ice magic in the game. I don't think there's going to be dual wielding, at least I haven't seen much for it. I don't know, I'm not really looking at the screenshots the same way you're looking at them. I'm literally just giving you my real impressions on this game, because I know so very little about it. But what I do know is Techland has not announced an actual release date, and they're infamous for this. They're very vague about release dates, and that's probably because they're trying not to mess up like they did on Dead Island. But I believe this game's gonna be good. In some aspect, it will be great. If you're a fan of the medieval genre, if you're a fan of demonic forces and the undead and all sorts of scary crap coming out of the ground, as we can see here, then you might enjoy this greatly. If you're a fan of hack and slash like Diablo, or even like, you know, the whole crafting aspect of things, the character customization, you'll enjoy this greatly. And it's a beautiful looking game. It is a beautiful looking game, so you gotta give it points there. Even if you don't buy the game, you know, if you want to see someone play this, let me know if you want to see me play a lot of this, because I will be doing at least a video, and I want to hear your comments. So let me know what you think of the game, and I will link one of the commentary videos from the devs in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Hellraid and this has been a little Let's Look at Hellraid video. Bye!